All right, everybody, you here? I don't know what's happening right now with this, but I need to know if I'm live now. I don't know where Mark's at. But we do have a crash expert on the scene that is testifying right now that that it does the what the cop is saying ain't lining up. So is everybody here now? Buzz, what's up, brother? I don't know what's happening right now. I switched everything over, and I don't know. Anybody on here that can get a hold of Tuck, tell him to get a hold of Dave. And let me know if you guys can hear it while we're in there. King Charles, welcome, brother. All right, guys, I'm going to go back in there and we'll see what happens. Oh, man.
Yeah, the body worn camera in the
Right, it's backwards.
at the storage yard.
Right. Right.
Oh, yeah, well, it's gonna have to be pretty far over here. Keep going. Mr. Catlin's gonna be gone.
Right. Down there, because he kind of explained.
Okay, if you can just kind of.
He explained that it's in a couple of minutes. In about 20 minutes. Yeah, that's why that's how it's standing right there, like.
Stop. If you can go, sometimes you can go five frames. Okay.
Yeah,
You can go 5 frames this way.
Are we too late here?
Yeah, just. The van starts to pull in.
Right there?
No, keep going.
Oh, is that? And like you're like,
Keep going. Stop. Okay. There's a groove on the side of the van that comes across here, and there's obviously something in the window that you can watch the back of the van disappear over here. So if you can we just move the bar, keep moving? Okay, right there. It's filled in there, and the back of the van now is out of view. You can't, because it's already past this window. If you play it just a few more forward,
Talk to the guy over here.
a few more,
Stop.
that stop. That's where the roof line starts to come down by the windshield. So now this van is way past here. The back of the van is way past this window edge. We know that if you watch, his camera's pretty well centered because you can see his hand on both sides. So it's pretty well centered. But the back of the van has gone beyond this edge. If the back of the van hit the squad car, you can't see it. Because you can't see the back of the van. If you play it just a little bit, again, we'll just take it just like about,
Want to go back?
just where the van starts to go into the window. Okay, now go ahead and start to run it.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like,
Start to run it.
that's why I was standing right here, like,
Go ahead, some more.
just make sure.
Stop. There's stop. There's the van. And you're gonna see it fill in. See this black mark right here? You're gonna see it fill in right across here. Go ahead. Run it.
Yeah, he was talking.
Boom, stop. So now the back of the van has already gone in the air. Now, it goes more than that. Go ahead and run it because the roof line, the van is still moving. Go ahead
Yeah, he mentioned,
until there's that.
he said.
So the back of the van is beyond the window edge. But, so I'm saying most probably he can't see the back of the van now, because he can't, because it's gone. That's, you know, I do have the video broken down frame by frame. And if we can find a computer that I can put it on to demonstrate it, I'd appreciate it.
I can't put it in here. Yeah, I'm not allowed to dip the cities, just for the record, that you runner knows the city's rules on that.
I'm sure it is.
I'm
Don't put anything in your.
I'm not allowed,
I got
as
it on
you
my
know, as you know, Mr. Young, from having worked with the department, I can't,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And you know what? We do what the boss says. I sent them to Mr. Patton this morning, and he may have them on his phone.
I will be able to pull it up on my phone, we just gotta disconnect it. Can you go ahead and disconnect your?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know where he's at.
Thank you.
Tell me when you're up.
Guess Direct D turned his off. So Direct D turned his off, so I guess I wasn't getting through somehow.
Do the photo. It's cute.
don't know what's. I don't understand why it's not working.
Are you an Apple or an Android?
Liberty Mutual has savings for all.
You know what, I can play it on my computer.
Okay.
But I can't play it on the screen.
Okay, perfect.
Your Honor, where do you wanna try to set this up? You wanna try to set it up down there? Where we can sit around, we can watch the screen?
You need a plug?
Well, yeah, there's a plug right there.
I got a strip right there for the screen, where you want the screen.
Yeah, so I mean, I
Well,
can put it right here if you
I
all want.
don't care, that's fine.
We'll do it here. Wherever the court, ma'am.
I'm gonna walk around.
If you wanna rotate, and I'll just, if he wants to rotate that.
Yeah, we'll lose some stuff.
That work?
Those 2-year exhibits, I've done that before.
Sure.
Okay, so in understanding these photographs, when you make a video, it will tell you the second, and then it will tell you the frame. Okay, so if it's 1 second and 3 frames, it'll be 1 and then the colon 03. In this particular case, I received them 125 frames per second, so I didn't change it. So in, so, okay. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? Okay, so the first, okay, now, I don't know how many frames per second the real original video is. The officer and Mr. Catlin both went back and they took video of a video. We ended up with 5 frames per second. So moving the yes, I took still shots of every. Okay, so when we're here, you can see the tail light over there on the passenger side of the van. You can see the brake light over here also. And if you're lucky, you see that it's not showing is the license plate.
Left, right arrow.
Yes, it's already on. Okay. So here we go. There we go. There's only sometimes, not always. Technology is best. So I'm going to close it, reopen it, because it's not open. You tell me when it's here. Guess what? You still see the brake lights. And see, I think it's 5 inches on the side of the. Now, you're gonna keep watching until this, until, the reason I watch it is the police. That was 4 seconds in between, by the way, because it sat there for 4 seconds. Okay, so we moved the police car towards it. And he gets to right there with the police, and the squad car never moves. You may want to come over here, look at it a little closer so you can see. I don't want to. I don't.
I can see it.
If you're looking right there, you'll see that it never moves. I did not make, I took it to where it penetrated the most, and I took it 6 frames past there, and then I jumped 4 seconds, and it's still sitting in the same place to show you that it didn't move. Did you see it? Okay. I'm gonna leave this where it's at.
Give me a second to write down.
I'm sorry? You guys have a conversation about the trial? So you're investigating?
He's an intern in my office.
He's an intern in your office and he's in here helping you with this case. Your Honor, I would like to ask that this man be removed from the courtroom. He just passed notes.
He's passing notes and talking.
He's working in the office, he's an intern, he's allowed to ask questions of Mr. Garcia, he's here to learn what he's doing.
Okay.
It's like it's one-sided courtroom. It's one-sided
Now,
courtroom
what
for
is your
them.
opinion number, that's, we're still talking about opinion number 3.
Well, let's see, there was, physically, it couldn't have occurred. 2 was that,
Script is not consistent.
with a collision. The body worn camera shows the back of the van was way past the window's edge. And so, officer could not have seen. And 4, as best I could, I was showing you that the vehicle doesn't move. Now, so those are the 4 opinions and the reasoning that I came to.
Mr. Captain, do you have any questions, further follow-up questions for this?
I think we already discussed that. I just want to ask to make sure. Did we discuss the right tail light and not matching up in the right corner, not matching up with the stuff on the police vehicle?
I did, I said that,
That's been answered.
that it was further 5 inches
I'm gonna object, ask and answer.
It's the same, he was asking us, he didn't.
Let's see. No, Your Honor, I left, my case.
You have no other questions for this witness, Mr. Brown?
No more questions.
All right. Mr. Turkey.
Yeah.
Cross-examination.
Is it Darkamp?
Darkia,
Darkia,
apostrophe, A-R-Q-U-E.
common spelling.
Yes.
Right.
Common spell.
Got my answer. I got my answer.
All right. So, Mr. Young, did you, at any point, directing your attention to the screen behind you, did you at any point measure the distance from where Officer Torres was standing to the van?
Yes, oh, to the van?
Yeah.
No, the police car. The police car was at a hash mark that we could easily identify.
Okay.
And so that's what I measured.
No, look, I'm gonna ask you to direct your attention. Did you measure the distance from here back to this area?
To the point of impact.
Right.
Correct,
Did you measure that?
I did.
Okay. Did you measure the window?
Yes,
And taking into account the glare that's visible, could you say without any sort of doubt that Officer Torres couldn't have possibly seen through that window to this area here?
well, we see the back of the van go
Okay.
beyond the window edge.
Right.
And he saw the back of the van hit the squad car.
Right, but
So-
you weren't standing where Officer Torres was standing, correct?
Well, I'm looking at his body worn camera that is, I granted that it's not the same height.
Okay.
Okay, but it's pretty centered in his body.
Body worn cameras mounted on his body and centered. His head, though, can move and see something that the body worn camera wouldn't necessarily see, correct?
Sure.
Now, did you take a look at showing off some footage from Officer Torres' body work camera. Do you recognize that?
Yes, it was disclosed.
Right.
Yeah, and
Is that similar to what you were just playing on your laptop?
well, actually, you see, he's taking a video of a video.
Right.
So in this case, you have a monitor here,
Right.
and you have glare here, and you have glare here,
Right.
and he's moving.
Okay.
So when he's moving around, this whole thing moves.
Okay.
So I looked at it, but I didn't like, I mean, it didn't have the quality of the one we just looked at.
And the one you just looked at was from what?
It was from Mr. Gatlin went and did the same thing.
Okay.
But you can do the same thing right here.
Right.
You can back it up and because but it's at a different angle and it's glare and you have to be careful because he's moving.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna run this and ask if you can see some movement in the video.
No,
Wait a minute.
if you can play it frame by frame, we could do the same thing. There's these arrows right here. Do these little arrows give you frame by frame, sir?
Hold on.
There you go. Try it backing it up.
Yeah, just back up. I just slowed it down.
Okay, back it up a little bit more so we can see the police car, the van coming in.
Right.
You can click the arrows, it'll take you, 24 clicks per second. Okay, right there. Back, okay, stop. Go forward a couple of clicks, because you could do it click by frame by frame. See where it says previous frame?
Yep.
And because it's, okay, what your experience is, every 5 clicks, the van will move.
Okay.
Okay, is
So, you
that
see-
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have the police, okay, we have the brake light, okay? Okay, then stop. Okay, now, you'll see that this brake light goes off, and then if you look right here where it says Tucson, keep an eye on the Tucson, right there. Go ahead. And where the brake light goes off, he stops. And if you notice, you can still see there's a little white dot right by the seat. And it stays that way for 4 seconds. So he's already stopped. So now, let's go back and see as he approaches, the frames just before he approaches, because that's where this supposed impact would have to occur. Click by click. And then you have to find something to watch. You can watch this brake light, this tail light right here of the police car. You can watch the 495, or you can watch right there, where he stopped, and it never moved. It never moved.
Right. I'm sorry? Certainly.
I have a question if you don't mind.
Certainly.
Where is the defendant's bumper in, where is it, the defendant's bumper in relation to the squad car's bumper? When they're that close together?
What, the bumper, you mean the vertical one right below the tail light? Okay, that's the hinge.
Below the,
Well, it's gotta be at least 5 inches forward, because the brake light is completely gone. And so it's gotta be someplace that way, forward of it. The good thing to watch is this brake light right here.
stop right there.
Right there.
Where's the bottom of the defendant's bumper?
Well, the bottom of it is right here. But it's only 18 inches tall.
I can
I
move
saw
that.
that, I couldn't tell in this video what was shadow and what wasn't, so I wanted to know.
Okay, I'll play it again.
Now, you gotta click, I think you're already there. Go forward, go backwards so the van comes into it. As you can see the C right there. So he's already into it as far as it's gonna go. There you go. Okay, now go forward.
Okay.
Now, if you watch this
Okay,
tail,
we're there, okay,
okay,
and we're gonna go frame by frame.
about every 5 clicks, again, it will move.
So can we say where the defendant's bumper is versus where the squad car bumper is?
Well, it's in the dark, so,
Okay, so you can't say that it didn't make contact, can you?
yeah, because the testimony was the car moved. That's what he said. I see the car move in the video. And it doesn't move.
My question is, it's in the shadow here, you can't tell that it didn't make contact, can you?
Yes, because you see this lens right here? This lens doesn't move. And it's attached to the car. As Torres says, you could watch it, it's
Okay.
attached.
Is it possible to make contact and not move the whole car to the point that that lens moves?
So what we have here is we have a solid object, just like the car.
I understand that. My
So
question
if
is,
this part of the car moves, this part moves,
with pliable plastic, that you would agree that the pliable plastic crushes in a little bit.
it didn't in this case, it scratched up and down. That's exactly what we looked
You would
at.
agree that that's a scuff mark?
A scuff mark up and down, it's a vertical scuff mark, it's
Yeah.
not a horizontal scuff mark.
Okay, may I? And draw your attention to what's been admitted as states 3 and 4. These scuff marks,
Right.
they go essentially from left to right, correct?
No, they go up and down. If that's the width of it, from left to right,
Okay,
they don't, but the scratch doesn't
so
go.
it's not possible that it went from left to right
No,
this way, Your Honor. It's not, your testimony is that it's not possible that Mr. Catlin's van hit and dragged across. That's not possible.
I understand that.
And looking at that video, it's not possible.
And the answer is no,
Okay,
because the mark is up and down.
Yeah.
And two,
Okay.
we put the vehicle, I put the vehicle together and the bumpers would have to get for an inch more. It would have to crush in an inch before you could get to the hinge.
But again, you were on level ground when you did that.
No,
You
we
weren't,
jacked it
you
up
weren't-
5 inches.
but you weren't at that same location, were you?
I measured the grade. Unlike the officer, I took a level and I measured the grade. The biggest the grade was,
Objection, facts, not evidence.
From the room, he's testified to what
All right.
was done.
Okay. Biggest the grade was what?
was 3 inches.
All right, so I'm gonna go frame by frame. So, is it not possible that at this point, the defendant's bumper made contact with the rear area of the patrol car?
No.
And,
You went offline, Jim.
yeah, I did. don't have any further for this.
Any of you want to take any other questions based on the question that Garcia asked?
Yes, did you take a look at the, plastic on both vehicles?
Which vehicles?
On the van, the police vehicle? The reason why I ask is Officer Torres, testified that his plastic was hard. And Officer Meyer, that my plastic on my van was hard, sorry. Officer Torres, Officer Myers testified that it was rubber-like after being led to go that direction. So I'm just wondering, what's your opinion on the texture, hardness of plastic is?
There are two places. Okay, you got two different plastics. Where the scratch is somewhat pliable. Okay. But where the two bumpers bump is harder, a very hard plastic. There was no pliable plastic involved from your van.
Nothing you describe as a rubber like the prosecutor described?
No, not.
Objection, mistake.
Thank you, that's all.
You can sit down then. Thank you.
May I be excused, Chairman?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other witnesses, Mr. Patton?
Just myself, Your Honor.
I'm gonna let you know.
Hang on a second.
Raise your right hand. Swear to testify prosecutor.
Yes. I didn't exactly know how to go about, this, so I questioned myself in the interview.
And let me just give you the, motion again at this point. You are not under any obligation to testify at this time. You must know that, the state can and will cross-examine you, okay? Sure. And you don't have to ask it multiple times, just tell me.
So I came to the storage unit, to get materials for a job that day. Called Officer Torres to come with me. Or to come down because, I was not able to gain access to my storage unit. Officer Torres told me that it was a civil matter and that there's nothing to do. After several times of repeating that, and I just didn't understand how I didn't have rights to my own property. I decided, okay, well, there's nothing that I can do here, so I'm gonna leave. Officer Torres was getting really aggressive, and I was getting really scared because of his tone and demeanor. So I got my vehicle. I sat there for about 20 seconds, letting the engine run, letting the fluids go. I always wait until the RPMs on it drops down to 800. So it starts up, I let it run, once it goes down, then I start to pull away. So I backed up. I could clearly see in my rear view camera. That's what I use when I'm backing up. And I also have an auditory alarm that beeps at me, and I could clearly see that I did not hit the police vehicle. the absolute clearest view you could get. 8.5 feet in the air is where my camera's at on my van, pointed straight down. You could see the doors on my van, you could see the bumper from side to side on my van. It's all clear, it's all visible. I did hear a comment from Officer Torres saying I could have parked in another parking spot, but he's never driven that big of a van, or maybe if he has, he's just not thinking about the fact that if I pull up parallel to the road, I can't see the cars coming, so I can't make a safe exit. I have to be perpendicular to the road to be able to view the vehicles coming along the street. So that's the reason why I backed up that direction. When I pulled away, I had no clue. I got up on the road, I got onto the highway or on the on ramp, and all of a sudden he came up behind me. My heart dropped. I literally was like, oh my gosh, this guy was attacking me inside of the storage unit, and now I'm being pulled over. And he didn't come up to me and say, hey, anything other than you hit my vehicle. And he started to make all these really, really awful comments, completely ignoring my responses to him, telling him that my backup camera works, that my sensors work, that I have a video camera that I can see it. I kept telling him I didn't do it, and he kept saying that he was going to show me. He was going to show me the damage, that he knew what it was, and that he was going to show me. I got out of the vehicle, and we went and we looked and we saw the damage on his vehicle. And then instantly, when we walked up to my vehicle, we didn't see any damage, and I asked him to show me where, and he couldn't show me. He said he had a scratch on his vehicle. That was his proof at the moment, other than him saying that he could see it. He told me that he had a scratch on his vehicle. And I said, well, there's got to be some kind of proof. He says, yeah, there's on there. And I said, well, then you can show me. He said he would show me, then a sergeant and another officer got there. Never did Officer Torres show me on my vehicle where this damage was, where it came from. When Sergeant Alexander came, I walked up to his vehicle, as we saw in the video earlier. I measured his damage, and then I walked over to my vehicle. Now, clearly, I went to the corner because if I would have measured over by my license plate or anywhere over there, I would have found the bumper to be way too low. And same with the officer. He also went directly to the corner of the van to search. But first, as I'm holding a tape measure on, trying to measure the side of the buckle, because I'm just trying to get a height at that point. I certainly didn't know anything of where it could be. I'm just trying to get a guess at where it could possibly be. And he walks up and says, no, it's not right there. Then he walked up to me and said, can I borrow your tape measure? Here, stand to my right. And he moved me to his left. You can see it in the video. He moves me to his left. His tape measure is in his right hand, advanced to the right. Prior to that, when I left the storage unit, he told me that I could walk across the street and make a phone call. But he knew we had talked about my van being right outside. I just don't understand where his mind was at. We walk up to my van. I hand him the tape measure because I'm trying to be as helpful as I can. I know I didn't do it. I'm just trying to help him prove to himself that he didn't do it. But instead of him proving it to himself, he ignored every bit of evidence that it did not happen. He didn't find anything that matched in the measurements. He didn't show me any damage. He first searched by the metal buckle, the metal hinge on my door, and then he searched on the side of it, exactly where he told me it wasn't. And then he couldn't find anything. He walked back to his van, measured again, came back to me, and started measuring along the passenger side of my van. As you can see in that video, there is no way the passenger side of my van ever came anywhere near that police vehicle on the passenger side of my van is where he was looking. He had no clue, he didn't know, there's no way that anybody would say, I saw it, and then start searching all over the place. He searched in 5 different spots, including 2 spots on the side of my van, 3 first in the back, and then walked to his vehicle and then came back and searched along the side. That is not a person who saw this incident happen. I became so scared that I'm sitting there asking him questions, and he's telling me that I did it. And then he starts saying things like, well, I have a scratch on my vehicle. So, and then he would stop. He wouldn't even continue with this conversation. He would just be like, oh, I got a scratch on my vehicle. There's a dent here. There's a ripple. I read in his incident report that there's a ripple. He told me several times there's a dent. If you look at his vehicle, there's no dent, there's no ripple. The images in all of those pictures are perfectly flawless. There's a scuff there, it is white. That scuff is white. There's no paint matter on it. I did not see any paint transfer. I've not seen the dust moved. So after he starts telling me this again, and we've already gone through the fact that there's no damage, I began hyperventilating. I became sick and distressed and scared because I didn't know what else to do. I just proved that it wasn't me, and he's still telling me it's me. So I asked before anybody suggested it. I said, can we go back to the office and get the surveillance video? And when Officer Torres did obtain that video, if you notice in the video on the top left of the picture of the videos, there's a download button. Of course, I can't go in there and tell the manager how to run his business, but a police officer could have told him that I see the upload and download buttons on there. Should I stick my thumb drive in there? Roy told me he couldn't burn it onto a disk, but I'm sure that's not the only way that police collect evidence. There's absolutely a better way that we could have obtained the original video of this. It was possible. The button was right there in the video that he was recording. So import, export. So he brings the camera back. He shows it to Sergeant Alexander. Then he walks up to me and shows it to me. And the first thing that I noticed was that the vehicle didn't move. And I pointed it out to him. And he said, oh, well, you're still guilty. And I said, okay, well, show me the video again. He shows me it again. And I said, look, if you see it, and you can see me in the video, I point to the corner. I said, look, you're saying that it's over here, but actually that scuff is over here. That scuff, if you look in the video, is close to my license plate. My license plate is 25 inches away from the corner of the van. That scuff is nowhere near the corner. You couldn't see like Superman through that van to where my scuff is. It's just not possible to see around the corner all the way to where my license plate is. It's absolutely not possible. So I pointed that out to him, and before he even showed Officer Myers the video, he told me that I was going to be cited, that I could fight it out in court, and here we are today. I did not do this, Your Honor. I had a clear view of this. These are the recounts that I have of the case. There's a lot of issues that I could bring up. I'm just trying not to because I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about. So that's all I have now.
Captain, the director, attention again to the screen up there. And we'll run this. We've agreed that essentially your passenger side or more towards your passenger now lined up with the rear of the patrol vehicle, correct?
No,
Would you agree with that?
no. That's the rear of my van. It's the passenger side rear. It's the
Passenger-
rear. it's the
passenger side rear.
It's the rear side of the passenger door, approximately about where the license plate is.
Okay. Well, we can essentially agree that essentially here at the passengers, more towards the passenger side is lined up with the rear of the patrol vehicle, correct?
Yes, and I love where you're pointing your pin because that is where the scratch is, but that is not where the corner of my van is.
Okay. But we can agree that that is essentially where the bumper, the rear
That's
bumper,
essentially the license plate on the door of my van.
like that portion there.
Yes, that's the license plate on the door of my van.
Okay.
If you back up, you'll be able to see the license plate.
Right. So you're saying it's a license plate?
I'm saying that scuff is right near my license plate on my van.
And you pull away. Okay. Now, we go to.
By the way, when I went to go turn in my evidence, Officer Torres was the officer that was there when I turned it in, and he said that he didn't understand why I was turning in my evidence, that his surveillance video was good enough to find me guilty.
Your strike, Your Honor.
I called the police department right afterwards and I complained about it.
Mr. Catley, you're.
Can you play the video where Officer Torres is talking to Sergeant on the phone?
Okay.
Elon Musk come here and fix this electronic stuff. They gotta have those ass kissers. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on. And that won't connect. I don't know why this won't come.
Waste of fucking time.
For some reason, it's not connected. I do not know why this is not connected. So my default position, I'll just come up here. So it goes. So this is you at the storage facility, correct? Yes. Okay. Just gonna roll this forward. Are you explaining what's going on?
Somehow the company and you, civil, what I mean by civil is, if you guys aren't able to work it out amongst yourselves, then you'll have to take it to court. Okay, you kind of go, hey, I need to get my stuff out of there.
So is he explaining to you what's going on and how it's a civil matter? Yes.
Civil matter, again, a judge is gonna have to decide. I mean, I don't know. I can't make them open that thing. Civil matter, I don't know, you're giving me a hypothetical that I don't know. Let's go in here.
So you're now walking back in for purposes of discussing this further.
Yeah, so I don't understand why, if it was all, a civil matter I could do nothing about, why, I don't understand why.
Yeah.
You should have just told me to go home.
Well, did you now go back inside? Okay. Is this the interaction that you've had with the office representative?
Yes. And this plant, he's interrupted you 5 times.
Well, I'm not asking you a question. Is this the interaction?
Nothing to do with.
Is that the point at which, well, tells you that if you want to make a phone call, go across the street? Is that what he told? Okay, now, roll forward. You recognize this as the furniture of their office. Is this the interaction with you and Officer Torres? Yes. Is this the point at which you?
Take home vehicle.